Okay, attempt number 2. Thanks, Wyatt. Okay, Annette, I swear I'm hitting accept and it's not doing anything. Oh, we were just talking about before this too, about how awful it is when this stuff doesn't work. Ugh, it just says she can't join. I don't know what to do. Oh, good.
It's working.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
well, looky
I
there. Mhm.
was like, I don't want to have to
Yay!
do this.
I was like, that's awful because we were just talking about what are you gonna do in the waiting.
That's what I just said. Ugh. Anyways, okay. After I had like a mini heart attack.
Okay.
Hi.
Sorry to leave you hanging, but
Yeah.
I was trying. I was like pushing the button.
Oh, anyways, okay. Yay! Thanks everybody for being patient.
Yeah.
Super awkward and not cool, but who's ready to talk about Sense and Sensibility?
Lots went on this week, so
Lots went on. So, um, give us a thumbs up if you are caught up. So you should be to 41, right? Stopped at 40.
oh,
Um,
Jackie, you're
yes. Okay. So I am going to give I'm just going to start talking and you can stop me when you want to add stuff in. So,
okay.
at the very beginning of these chapters, um, we find out about Colonel Brandon's daughter that he had to like rush off and take care of when they were supposed to go to the look
The
at the
picnic.
house or whatever several chapters back and everybody was upset. So we find out that Willoughby got her in a situation and then left her, and he had to so Colonel Brandon had to come and make that situation better. Oh, and you find out that he loved this girl. The girl ended up having to marry his brother, and then they got divorced, and she became a lady of the night and got pregnant. And so his ward is not his daughter, but he treats her like a daughter and
Yeah,
takes care of her because he loved, I can't remember her name so much.
yeah,
And she looks like Mary, or she did look like Mary Ann. So
yeah.
we finally get that whole backstory bit, which was super sad and just like heartbreaking. Very familiar, though, to the story that is to come in Pride and Prejudice. That's all I'm saying. Um, and then after we find that out, then we find Willoughby, we find out he marries the girl.
Basically, he's
Um,
a
yes. So he marries the girl for, I guess, a higher status, and now Marianne is distraught and won't leave the house, and so they spend some time trying to do things to coax her out. So, I would agree with you, Jackie. Colonel Brandon is the best at this point. um, so then they end up hanging out with they being um Eleanor, and I think Marianne was there.
yeah,
They end up awkwardly hanging out with Lucy and Edward because what is the
awkward.
tie?
So
Yes, what is the
awkward.
tie between the lady that they're staying with and it's Lucy? They're somehow
Yeah,
related, right?
her niece. I think
Something, some
it's
sort of
her.
relation. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so everyone is super awkward at that thing because, as you remember, Eleanor liked Edward pretended like he liked Eleanor. I don't know. Do we think he actually did?
I don't know. I
Then
I mean, I don't know.
then Edward has Lucy's hair in a ring. It's all very weird and strange, but it was still like nobody knew that they were secretly dating, if you want to
Yeah,
call it that.
Eleanor's the only one that knew. And
Right.
of course, Edward doesn't know that Eleanor knows.
Right.
So,
The
so
whole
much
thing was
stress.
so awkward. And you had all the protocols that they were dealing with too, of like, um, she can't really directly talk to him because then
Yeah,
it seems like,
don't
I
blink
don't know, that was kind of
three
hard to,
times because
yes,
that would be crossing a
yes,
line.
that would be too much. So then, so we have that awkward situation, and then shortly thereafter, everyone finds out that Edward and Lucy have intentions to get married, and that was super dramatic. That like
Yeah,
that exploded everyone's little world, and that was just crazy. He ended up going, he being Edward ends up telling his mom, and she's like, I'm not going to ever talk to you again. Are you sure this is what you want? I'm going to give everything to your brother. And he says yes. And then tries to convince Lucy to not marry him because now he's poor. Like, the whole thing was too much. It was over the top. Um, but um, I did like the part where Mary Ann like goes to Eleanor and says, like, I can't believe you knew. I feel so ashamed of how I acted, you know. But really, what kind of integrity Eleanor had to not say anything? Because how
right.
many times I would have said, like, you think you
Listen,
have it bad. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Um,
I felt like Mary Ann was still a little bratty and how, I mean, to me, I didn't feel like I mean, yes, she said, like, while I was dealing with all of this stuff, you kept this from me, like what she was dealing with. But I still felt like Mary Ann was kind of whiny. Like she was offended. She took on this offense that was really Eleanor's instead of,
yeah.
I just don't feel like she was a good support like Eleanor
Yeah.
is for her.
Oh, for sure.
It,
She definitely
it's
has
like,
the younger sister vibes
yeah,
of like, I will fight this person for you, but you know, I still, yes, don't know how to make it better for you.
yeah, yeah. I like
So,
what Jackie says here. Eleanor is like the therapist for everyone and keeps everyone's confidence. She's amazing. I agree. She is amazing, but
she
also
is
she needs
amazing.
to get some of that frustration out. Like that frustration has to come out at some point. Don't you think?
Is it going
Is
to?
that
I don't
I don't
know.
know. I mean, I know, but I don't know.
So, I did think that when I feel like the conversation she has with Marianne about how like when she's telling her like I knew this whole time, I felt like she was kind of in her own subtle way saying like, yes, I was dealing with all of this too, and I couldn't tell you because I promised to keep the secret, but like it was really hard
Yeah,
and I have struggled in
yeah,
her own, way.
yeah.
I felt like she was kind of saying that, but yes. Um but considering the beginning of the story to where Marianne is now, there is some growth. So I'll give her a little bit.
Give her a little bit. I did, yeah, Jackie's right. I forgot about that part where she stood up for her sister's drawing.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, I think Marianne did a great job in that
Yeah.
in that scene. Yeah, for sure.
So, and then I thought it was interesting. So then we go, so all chaos breaks out when everyone finds out about Lucy and Edward. What are they going to do? Everybody's gossiping. And Eleanor ends up going to the park. Marianne still can't leave the house because she's afraid she's going to run into Willoughby.
Hmm.
But she goes to the park and she ends up walking around with Lucy's sister.
Yeah,
I can't, I
Miss Steele.
can't, yes, Miss Steele. So we have two other sets of sisters, right? But this sister proceeds to just gossip with Eleanor all about how she's overheard these conversations. So she's not even like being told the conversation, she's eavesdropping on these conversations,
Mhm.
and then just so freely giving it to um, Eleanor and gossiping about her own sister. And then Eleanor kind of like calls her out on it, and she's like, "Oh, it's okay. She does that to me too." And I just thought that was such a good, again, the mirror image of the way the Dashwood sisters treat each other, um, versus the way the Steele sisters treated each other. Um, Again, just making that like very vivid comparison, because how awful is it that not only does everybody know Lucy's drama now and how nobody thinks she's good enough for Edward, but her own sister is kind of like trash talking her and is shaming her to somebody she really doesn't even know that well.
Yeah, yeah,
So, I just felt like that was a really, I don't know that it was as subtle as Jane Austen is, that she does that in later books. I feel like it's funny because all of her plot points that she does in Sense and Sensibility are so just like straightforward. Whereas I think she developed kind of a more subtle, I don't know, like sneaky way of putting the storyline together in the later stories.
yeah. But
So,
this was her first one, right?
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
I'm trying to remember them. But yeah.
yeah. So, and then it ends up
The
wrapping
Steel
up.
Sisters have got
Yes.
to go.
Well, I feel bad. I feel bad for Lucy. I don't feel bad for the older one, but I do feel bad for Lucy. Um, and then it ends up being that at the end, Colonel Brandon comes and saves the day and offers, or is going to offer Edward a job. But it sounds like he doesn't think that he should be married and takes the job. I was kind of confused on that because we just have to stop and not really get any more explanation to it. But is that what it was? That he can have the job but not be married because it doesn't make enough.
I actually don't remember. I'm so sorry.
Well,
Of why
that's
he.
a conversation that he has with Eleanor, but then um, but then the lady that they're staying with, I think, is like, "That's crazy. That's enough money." So I can't quite remember if anybody remembers that, but it ends up leaving that Colonel Brandon has saved the day for Edward and is going to offer him a job. So
Uh, yeah. But she's like this knowing that the next time she sees him that he's going to be married. Like that's where it left us off.
okay.
That Edward was
Well, and yes, and so Mrs. Jennings makes the comment about how
yeah,
he doesn't know because Colonel Brandon doesn't understand what people can live off of because he's so wealthy.
right, yeah. And she can make much of nothing. And she might
Right,
even be able to have a little cottage like you guys, only a little bigger.
right, right.
That cracked me up.
So, I know she's a character. I love her. Um, so those were kind of, that's the whole overarching theme to like all these chapters. So, what what did you find interesting about this collection of chapters?
I think I found the comic relief that's in these chapters, not little, um but where they're in the store and there's this guy in front of them. They don't know who it is at first. They don't know that till a few chapters later. But he's discussing a toothpick case. And
Jackie just
now,
said that. Can we talk about the annoying brother and
yes,
sister?
he's so quirky. Why do we need a toothpick case? And
Yes,
also, I'm going to need you to Google that. What is a toothpick case? And
I
we'll
will
leave
find
pictures
it.
posted.
I will
Because,
do that.
and also he spent, what did it say, a quarter of an hour
Yes.
discussing like the dimensions or whatever.
Yes.
What
It was
what is that?
crazy. Yes.
Maybe I
I
need it.
I think it was very interesting to see all the different characters' reaction to the news of Lucy and Edward because I felt like she spent a good bit of time um like kind of showing all of the different reactions from everybody um about the situation and how scandalous it was.
Yeah.
And
I
and
think Miss, go
couldn't
ahead.
couldn't go.
No, I was going to say Mrs. Dashwood, like the brother, Mr. Dashwood, his wife, just her freaking out
Hmm.
over the news was, I found that funny too.
Well, and I thought it was so funny when she was like, basically was like, well, if we would have known he was going to pick her, then we would have let him marry you to Eleanor. Like, it was kind
And
of
you're
just,
like, really? Would
yeah.
you? Would you? No.
Oh, and how distraught she was, like needing the doctor and all the things. Like, oh, it was very over the top and dramatic for all of the people.
Yes. Okay, we have comments.
Oh,
Can you see them?
yes. Okay, so Janet said Brandon felt uh is it Brand? It is Brandon. Felt like his cottage was too small for more like a bachelor, I think. Yeah. So I think that's what it was, is he just thought that
Oh,
it
okay,
was
I got you now.
too small.
I
Um,
got you now.
but yes, but then Mrs. Jennings does fix it and says, "Oh, y'all can just fix it up like how y'all did your little cottage. You poor souls." Oh, but then
Okay, and then the
yeah, go
younger
ahead.
brother. Are you talking about Mr. Dashwood? I'm assuming that's who you're talking. He's annoying too because I feel like he's tripping over himself and like defending his wife,
Yeah.
who is obviously just, I don't know. She's not very nice,
Yes.
but he's trying to make her like seem nice,
Yeah.
nicer than she is, I guess.
Well, he's been doing that the entire
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Everything he just thinks it's very similar to how Mr. Collins treats oh, what's his patron? What's her name? The old lady. Is it Catherine? Um,
I don't remember the names.
oh, Jackie, help me out. The the um the old lady who is what's his name's aunt? Mr. Darcy's aunt. Um, but he and Mr. Collins is the person who preaches at her church or whatever, basically. Um, but yes, he treats her so much like that. Like there's no bad thing that she can ever say or do.
Right.
Um, but yeah, so I think these chapters were super funny to kind of just see how everyone took it and the implosion that ensued. But um, I think so. There's only 10 chapters left, so I feel like we're gonna get resolution for Eleanor in the sense of, I think she'll end up with Colonel Brandon, but I don't know what's gonna happen with Marianne. I would be surprised. Like, it's not like Jane Austen to leave somebody hanging without a love. Yes, Lady Catherine. Yeah.
Lady Cat.
Um. So I don't know where that's going. I'm really glad though that like Willoughby is out of the picture and um we're done with him, so to speak. Hopefully,
Yeah,
I hope they don't come back.
definitely not with, definitely not with Willoughby.
Oh, so I don't know. Do you have anything else that you thought was
No, this was a jam-packed 10
there was?
chapters.
And
It
I
was a
feel like
lot.
there was a lot of people, and when that
Yeah,
happens, I just try to focus on the characters that we had before it got crazy.
yeah, yeah.
Because a lot of times the side characters don't, necessarily matter if they're not coming back. So, um, and especially in a classic, I know we've talked about that before too, but just kind of holding on to the thread. Sometimes the first time through going through a classic, you can't get all the peripheral stories. You just focus
Yeah.
on the main one. So that's what I'm doing. Um, and I honestly, I made notes for myself as I was reading through so that I wouldn't forget. because there was a lot that was going on, and a lot of people came back into the story or new people. Like a lot was going on
Yeah.
this week.
And they were kind of moving around a lot.
Yeah,
Like, this is,
yeah. Jackie said, I
yeah.
continue to be amazed at how so many social graces were required and people couldn't just come out with the truth. I know. Like,
Yeah.
even it was killing me the whole time that Eleanor wouldn't ask, just out and out ask Marianne if she was engaged to Willoughby. That's her
Hmm.
own sister, but she felt like she couldn't ask that. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I can't imagine if somebody from that time period came to our time period. I think they would be flabbergasted. So, um, yes, and I am excited for Eleanor to now pursue the relationship that we all see is coming with Colonel Brandon. But like I said, I'm interested to see what happens to Marianne more because I like it's not going to be surprising when she ends up with Colonel Brandon. Like it's already happening, but I do wonder what's going to happen with the rest of them. And
I'm so excited for you to find out
and is Margaret going to be a better person
when they
when
get
they
back.
go back home? Um, I don't know. I'm excited to see how everything wraps up. So, and I have enjoyed this story a lot. Um, I would say that I probably do like this one more than Pride and Prejudice. Um, I don't know. I guess I'll have to see the ending if I like it more than Emma, because that is my favorite one. So, yes, and will the Dashwoods house or cottage be redecorated? All of these things I have wondered the entire time. Is mom really doing everything she said she was
No.
going to do? I'm going to hold out hope for her because
You
I
know that's
am that
not how it
mom.
goes.
I am that mom. I want this for her. But anyways, yeah. So
Everyone needs a cottage. Yeah.
everyone needs a
I want a
cottage.
cottage.
I want a hobbit hole, if we're being
I,
honest. I would take that.
okay. I'll take a hobbit home, but if I can't have that, I'll have a cottage.
I will take a cottage too. Like if we're
And
just
like,
giving them out.
do you realize how big their cottages are?
I know.
These are not tiny houses.
It's probably bigger than our house. Maybe not your house because you have a nice two-story,
Mine
but
is
it's
really huge,
probably bigger
but
than mine.
yeah.
Yeah. Anyways.
I mean,
Okay.
yeah. I wish it was designed like a cottage. That
Oh,
would be
I
lovely.
know.
The
But they also have the very
garden,
low ceilings, like, and rooms
that is
feel
true.
very tight and tiny. I don't know.
Okay, the
I
people
will
need to
find
know about the
out. Yes,
toothpick
I
case.
will find out about the toothpick case. And then y'all can let me know what you think about the toothpick case and or cases. Maybe we need cases to like celebrate
Celebrate?
finishing
Nah,
Sense and
I don't think so.
I wonder what other uses you could have for a toothpick case because I do not use them. So, anyways,
Next
I
time we
will
go to dinner, I will pull my toothpick case. Would you like a toothpick?
have it monogrammed. I will get to the bottom of this for the people. I will find out and I will post some pictures. And shout out to my aunt, Janet, because she's the one that sent me the picture. She found the original picture of the hair in the ring. And so that sent me on the spiral of like,
Oh my goodness.
what?
Bless it.
And I found all those crazy
Those were
pictures. So
disturbing.
they were super disturbing. I should have saved that in a highlight reel because now it's gone. But I will I'll do better this time and find the toothpick cases. So, anyways. Okay. So next week is going to be our last live. You only have 10 more chapters and then we're done with Sense and Sensibility.
I feel
And
like we need
then
balloons and confetti.
and I will be watching the movie. We should have like a viewing party and then post comments or something of how it's going, like a live posting on stories of how the movie is going. But I'm super excited
That
to
would be fun.
yes, I'm super excited to watch the movie too. So,
It's so,
okay,
so good.
I'm so excited. So,
Okay.
okay.
And then
Everybody have a great
also,
weekend. Oh,
also after this, after the next live, we're going to be doing a podcast.
yes.
Correct.
Yes. So
So,
next live, we'll talk about the final chapters. But then we're going to do a podcast to actually talk about the whole book in and of itself. So
yeah.
that will come out not next week, but the week after. I think it's like March 13th. So,
Okay. Perfect.
yes.
Yay.
So, everybody have a great weekend and don't forget to read the last 10 chapters. And we'll see
Yay
you
for
next week.
reading. All right.
Bye.
Bye.